Hello and welcome back to Beckler Guitars and Repair, and today we're going to be checking out a headless guitar with stainless steel frets that costs less than $400. This is the Eart GW1. Alright, so this thing's pretty cool. It's got a lot of features, so let's just get right into it. So it's got a roasted ash body with a burled maple veneer. So we can see that burled maple here. So it has actually a really nice top on this. And this is kind of a satin finish. It's got a rosewood fingerboard with mother of pearl inlay markers. And then it's also got stainless steel frets. Those are medium jumbo. This is one of the early models, the GW1. They do have an updated version, the GW2, but some of these GW1s came with the Seymour Duncan-like pickups, like the Invader style. I'm sure they're not Seymour Duncans, but we'll have a look when we take it apart here. And then we've also got a three-way switch, a volume and a tone. This is a locking tremolo system, but it also has the option to lock the actual tremolo system and make it like a hardtail so the tremolo doesn't function. So that's kind of a cool feature there. I've also got the truss adjustment on the wheel here, right in front of the first neck pickup, which is a great spot for it. I really like it when they put the truss rod here because it just makes it super easy to adjust. You just use a little tool to do it, and you don't have to take off any truss rod covers, and it preserves the headstock in terms of looks. But this one has no headstock, so that doesn't really matter. But what we do have is a bone nut, and yeah, it looks like they're using a 0 fret there for stainless steel. So yeah, interesting. Let's have a look at the back. So the back, we can see our roasted ash body. It's a bolt-on neck. The heel is nice and carved here, so it's a little easier ergonomically in your hands when you play. We've got a comfort cut here, a belly cut, and it's actually a 5-piece neck. So it's roasted maple and paduk. And there is a little bit of a lute on the back. I think that's just probably for hand feel, so you know when to stop. It'd be kind of weird if you just tapered off into nothing. But yeah, this is quite nice quality for the price. Everything seems to be all good. I got this one used, but there doesn't seem to be any issues with it. No scrapes or dings or scratches. And yeah, it looks pretty good. So it's also got a scale length like a Fender, which is 25.5, and the neck is kind of they call it a compound ergonomic neck. So it goes from a U to like a C shape, which is cool. So yeah, alright, let's go ahead and get some specs. Alright, so weighing in at 6 pounds, 5.4 ounces. Okay, so we got a narrow neck at 1.65, and then at the 12th that goes up to 2.06. First fret neck depth is 0.823, and at the 12th it's 0.892. And here's our neck profile. So yeah, it starts off like a pretty standard C style, and then it does really flatten out by the 12th. So they're calling that more of like a U. So it goes from like a C to a U. I'd call that a little bit more like a D, because that's where it flattens out at the top quite a bit. In terms of chunkiness, I would say it feels like in terms of like a Gibson, more like a 60s neck, a slim taper. Alright, let's check out our pickup readings. So our bridge pickup is reading a 14.82, and in the neck position a 7.73, and in the middle a 5.19. Alright, here's a look at our pickups. They're kind of unbranded. They've got a gold back and then some permanent marker. This one's marked 7.7, this one's marked 15. I'm assuming that's the ohm reading that they were getting. That's pretty similar with our results. But we can see our pickup cavities are really nice and clean. No sawdust or tear out anywhere. And we can see that the burl veneer is very thin for the top, but we've got a nice thick ash body underneath, and that's all solid wood, so that looks good. And the foam is just on the back of the pickups to adjust the pickup height. When you compress the foam by tightening the screw, the pickup will go down, and then when you release the screw, it'll the pickup will jump back up because of the springiness of the foam. And our route is looking very clean as well, and we've got full-size pots in here. It looks like a little green capacitor you see on a lot of import guitars, and a PCB style switch system, which is fine. I think these fail a little bit more often than the Fender type, but they're still pretty good. And then a barrel style output jack. So yeah, everything's looking good back here. So the tuners are, you tune them back here. These are the fine tuners here, but they're a little bit hard to use individually because they're so close to each other, so it's a little difficult to tune. That's why they throw in this little tool here. So it's basically just an extender that you put into the back, and it just gives you a little bit more grip and a little bit more real estate to tune. However, there's not really a spot for this on the guitar, so you got to have it separate. So I mean, it's going to be easy to lose, and something that you could probably easily forget somewhere. Unless I'm missing something. Oh, no, I'm not. So it'd be cool if they had a little spot here, a pocket or something for this thing to rest into so you don't lose it. Otherwise it looks like it's pretty easy to lose. So restringing this guitar is a little bit strange. If you look past the saddles, there's a little bit of a golden wheel back there. So when you tune this guitar, you turn these little gripped knobs in the back, but when you turn that, there's a little golden wheel on the inside that turns. So you actually have to cut your string at the ball end and then feed it into that hole and then tighten it up, and that will wrap your string around, and that's also how you tune it. So it's a pretty cool system. I don't know if this is unique to this type of this type of guitar, like a Strandberg or whatever, but I've never really encountered this tuning system before. It seems to work well so far, and it's pretty easy to restring your guitar. Alright, I just finished setting this guitar up and setting up the intonation. So the intonation is kind of cool on this system. So these saddles are all just free floating, and they're kind of put into place by the tension of the string here. So in order to adjust the intonation, there's a little screw here on the very side of the trem. So that kind of squeezes all of these loose saddles together, so they're pressure fit in there. And then when you loosen this, these have the freedom to move around a little bit. So you set your intonation by simply sliding the individual saddles back and forth. And then once they're set, you tighten the screw here, and that keeps everything nice and locked into place. For relief, I've got this guitar set pretty straight here. So there's just a tiny bit of relief in the neck. You can see that there's just a slight little space in between the notch straight edge and the fingerboard. Okay, and the action at the first fret is quite nice. You can see when I push down the third fret, it's just resting very close to being right on the fret. And I can do that all the way down, and the first string is just resting nicely on that first fret. So that just means our action is set on the neck nicely, and our 0 fret is just making sure that we have the best possible action here with no buzz. And here's our action on our 12th fret. At the low E, we're at about a 1.5, and at the high E, about a 1.25, or just over a 1. I'm just going to show that there's no buzz anywhere on the guitar. So I thought I heard a little bit of buzz in there, but I think I was just fretting it wrong. Yeah, it looks good. Maybe just the slightest of little bits, but you won't be able to hear that coming through an amplifier. So yeah, it plays nice with very low action and no fretting out anywhere. It's also, yeah, the fretwork is really well done. There's no fret sprout at all. And then if you look at the ends of the fret, the ends of the frets, they're just like little ball bearings. They're nice and rounded and super smooth, no fret sprout at all, and they're super polished. Like they just, yeah, if you can hear that, there's just no gritty sounding at all on the frets. They just bend very, very easily because they're nice and super polished. So, alright, let's go ahead and plug this in and hear how it sounds. Alright, here we are plugged into the One True King rig. Alright, so yeah, that bit is blatantly stolen from 60 Cycle Hum. So, anyway, if you're not familiar with the One True King rig, that is the 65 Fender Deluxe Reverb reissue. This one in particular, we've done a bunch of mods to. You can check out some of the other videos. I'll put those links in the description. Basically, we put a new speaker in it and did the bright cap mod and changed the baffle and the grill, some other stuff too. So go ahead and check that out. You're gonna hear how it sounds clean, and then with a little bit of dirt. All right, here I am on the bridge pickup, just clean. good, clean, a little dark sounding. These are kind of like Seymour Duncan Invader type looking pickups, so they definitely don't sound similar though. They're quite a bit darker. The bridge is dark, the neck is dark. Yeah, it's a very dark sounding guitar. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and turn on a distortion pedal, a little bit of dirt here. Try some heavier effects. Alright, so final thoughts on the Eart GW1. It's a really cool guitar. Yeah, I've never played this kind of type of guitar before, like a Headless, Strandberg, Steinberger type guitar. And I really like it. It's plays great, action's nice and low, super easy to play and bend. And the fretwork kind of steals the show here. I mean, they're super polished and level, and the stainless steel, the ends are super nice and rounded. It's really great fretwork at any price point. It's pretty wild how they can put it on such an inexpensive guitar. And yeah, materials and build quality, it's all there. It's a really nice piece of ash in the back, really nice grain. The burled maple veneer top they used is really good looking too. And you got your 5-piece maple neck. It's got flame in there and Paduk. Yeah, the routes are all super clean. The electronics are done well with quality parts. They're using full-size pots. The pickup sounded great, a little darker than what I'm used to, but listening to it back on the recordings, they really did sound good. And they sounded really good with like that really high gain kind of metal sound. I really like the bridge. The tuning aspect of it is a little bit annoying without that little extra piece you have to use, that adapter. It's doable, but you have to be pretty careful because they're pretty much touching together there. But it is doable, and yeah, I mean it's a great, like, for traveling because it's so small, and it's really comfortable to play because of this little form factor here. You can really set it like on your lap, and it really sits on your leg really nicely. It's kind of weighted really well too. Just really comfortable to play on the couch, or wherever you want to take it. Yeah, I found this one used, and I mean, I got it for a really good price. I paid for about half of what they go for new, and it's in excellent condition. So I mean, you can still find deals on these too. I think these prices are probably going to go up once people really realize how good they are. I know a lot of YouTubers have been talking about these guitars, and for good reason. They're pretty crazy for the price. You get a lot of quality here. So yeah, really nice guitar, and it's pretty different, but it does a lot of things really well. So yeah, that's going to be it for today for Beckler Guitars and Repair. Thanks for tuning in, and we're going to have more for you really soon. Thanks a lot.